Some presidents changed America with a single decision. Others reshaped the world without firing a shot. Across nearly 2.5 centuries, every commander-in-chief.
George Washington had already won America's fight for independence, but his greatest achievement wasn't defeating Britain, it was proving that a free republic could survive under peaceful civilian leadership. That choice would shape every presidency that
America had never experienced a peaceful transfer of presidential power between political rivals. Many feared the young republic would collapse into violence. Instead, John Adams,
the Louisiana Purchase, conceived in the United States into a continental government. Yet in 1803, he approved a purchase. The Constitution never clearly authorized.
When British forces burned Washington, many believed the United States was finished. But James Madison refused to surrender.
In 1823, James Monroe delivered Monroe Doctrine, became one of the most influential principles in American foreign policy. European powers were told to stay out of the Americas.
Andrew Jackson's presidency marked a turning point in American democracy. During his era, most states removed property requirements for white male voters having in elections.
Martin Van Buren inherited of an economy already in treasury system during one of the America's worst launched 1837.
William Henry Harrison served only 31 days before his sudden death. William Henry Harrison served only 31 days before his sudden death at John Tyler entered office unexpectedly, but he left behind a lasting legacy. In the final days of his presidency, he secured the annexation of Texas, dramatically expanding the United States.
James Polk promised to expand the nation, and he delivered. The Mexican-American War ended with the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, adding an enormous stretch of territory to the United States. But the question...
A celebrated general, Zachary Taylor, and explain how became president just as the slavery debate threatened to tear the country apart. He urged
Millard Fillmore believed the compromise could save the Union. By signing the Compromise of 1850, he helped that national fear was inevitable.
Franklin Pierce's most lasting achievement, and explain how the Gadsden Purchase came through diplomacy rather than war. The Gadsden Purchase secured land needed for a potential Southern Transcontinental Railroad.
James Buchanan left office as the admission of Kansas under the Wyandotte Constitution shortly before leaving office.
Abraham Lincoln faced the greatest crisis in American history, alongside preserving the Union through civil war.
After Lincoln's assassination, Andrew Johnson restoration of the former Confederate States to the Union, while accurately inherited the enormous task of Reconstruction. But his approach to rebuilding...
Ulysses S. Grant believed the Civil War's victory meant of the Reconstruction Amendments, and his campaign against the Ku Klux Klan unless freedom was protected. Rutherford B. Hayes entered office after one of the most contested elections in American history. His peaceful inauguration helped preserve confidence in the constitutional transfer of power. James Garfield served only a few months before an assassin's bullet ended his presidency. Yet his call for a government based on merit.
Ironically, Chester A. Arthur had once benefited Silkhound from the political patronage system, but after Garfield's assassination, he embraced reform instead. By signing the Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act,
As giant corporations came to dominate the American economy, Benjamin Harrison signed the Sherman Antitrust Act into law.
Although in 1893 plunged during the America into a severe economic depression. Grover Cleveland fought to preserve the nation's reserves and maintain the gold standard.
William McKinley led the nation through the Spanish-American War, a conflict that lasted only months but transformed America's place in the world. The victory brought new overseas...
William Howard Taft rarely sought the spotlight and explained how his aggressive antitrust the spotlight, but he pursued antitrust enforcement even more aggressively than Theodore Roosevelt.
Woodrow Wilson led the United States through the final years of World War I and arrived in Paris with an ambitious vision.
Warren G. Harding promised Americans a return to normalcy and the Washington Naval Conference after years of war and upheaval. His administration also to the Washington Naval Conference.
Americans, the only thing for greater percent. Brought was fear bridge itself.
Through the New Deal,
Harry Truman inherited the presidency at the end of World War II and the launch of the final months of World War II. In the years that followed, it helped launch the Marshall
John F. Kennedy challenged to the Apollo moon program one of the most inspiring presidential visions in American history. By committing the nation to landing a man on the moon before the decade's end, bid
as sweeping.
For more than 2 decades, the United States and the People's Republic of China had virtually no formal diplomatic relationship. Richard Nixon's historic visit.
Gerald Ford inherited a presidency shaken by Watergate after my most significant contribution. His decision to pardon Richard Nixon sparked fierce debate, but Jimmy Carter and deplaned it nearly 2 weeks to intention negotiations at Camp David. His persistence helped Egypt and Israel reach a historic peace agreement, reducing the likelihood.
Ronald Reagan projected confidence phase of the Cold War, combined with his economic agenda. His administration pursued economic reforms while taking a firm stance against the Soviet Union.
George H.H.W. Bush guided the United States through the peaceful end of the Cold War and the peaceful end of the Cold War.
During Bill Clinton's presidency,
Gentlemen,
Barack Obama's signature domestic achievement was the Affordable Care Act, a sweeping reform that expanded health insurance coverage to millions of Americans.
As the COVID-19 pandemic spread across the globe, the United States launched Operation Warp Speed manufacturing to accelerate vaccine development and production.
Joe Biden's signature legislative achievement was the bipartisan infrastructure law.
Across nearly 2.5 centuries, every president faced a different America. Some fought to preserve the Union, others expanded opportunity, defended freedom, or redefined.
History rarely remembers presidents for every speech they gave or every election they won. Instead, it remembers the decisions that changed the nation's direction.
A president's legacy is rarely settled when they leave office.
No two presidents inherited the same America. Each faced different crises, different opportunities, and different expectations. Yet the leaders remembered most are those whose decisions left lasting marks.
Across American history, the recurring themes behind America's greatest presidential achievements and crisis leader achievement came during moments of uncertainty.
Throughout American history, presidents have often been defined by the challenges they inherited. Crisis forced difficult choices, but it also created opportunities for transformation.
Many of America's great achievements has sounded unrealistic, expanding a young nation across continents to predict
The most ambitious presidential achievements rarely happened alone. They required persuasion, negotiation, and the ability to unite people with different interests around a larger.
Some presidential achievements solved immediate problems. Others changed the nation's path for generations. The most transformative decisions were those that altered how
Abraham Lincoln faced the greatest crisis in American history, a nation divided against itself. His leadership preserved the Union, and the Emancipation Proclamation transformed the Civil War into a fight. When Franklin D. Roosevelt took office during the Great Depression, millions of Americans faced unemployment and uncertainty. Through the New Deal, his administration kept
John F. Kennedy's challenge to send Americans to the moon in his technological ambition became one of the nation to the first human technological achievements. The Apollo.
Ronald Reagan's presidency was defined by the final stages of the Cold War. through military pressure,
Dwight Eisenhower's creation of the interstate highway system became one of the largest infrastructure projects in American history, built for transportation, commerce, and national defense.
Lyndon Johnson's presidency produced some of the most significant great reforms of the Civil Rights Act.
Woodrow Wilson's pred was defined by World War I and in America's 14 points.
After World War II, Harry Truman faced the challenge of rebuilding a shattered world. Through the Marshall Plan, the United States provided a steering.
During Bill Clinton's presidency, the United States examined and bearded strong economic growth, low unemployment, and the acceleration of the digital revolution.
But the next historic challenge would arrive unexpectedly. Unexpectedly.
Joe Biden's presidency began during one of America's most challenging modern crises.
Measuring presidential greatness is not simply about popularity or political beliefs. Historians often consider the scale of change, the challenges faced, and the lasting effects decisions have on generations that follow.
Thomas Jefferson's Louisiana Purchase transformed and expanded the United States by doubling the nation's territory in 1803.
James K. Polk's presidency transformed the size of the America's United States through the acquisition of vast western territories. His expansionist policies fulfilled the nation's continental ambition.
Abraham Lincoln's greatest achievement was preserving the Union during America's bloodiest conflict. Through leadership during the Civil War and the Emancipation Proclamation,
Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal reshaped the relationship between Americans and their government during the Great Depression through economic reforms, public works programs, and financial regulation.
Franklin D. Roosevelt led the United States through the most devastating global conflict in modern history. His wartime leadership united the nation, expanded America's industrial power, and helped.
John F. Kennedy's greatest achievement was inspiring America to reach beyond its limits through the Apollo program. His challenge to land humans on the moon.
Richard Nixon's cause as America moved toward the end of the 20th century, water and natural resources. But as America moved toward the end of the 20th century, Gerald Ford became president during one of America's most difficult moments of political distrust. His leadership focused on healing national division
and international challenges. The Camp David Accords created a historic peace agreement between Egypt and Israel, but after a period of economic uncertainty,
Ronald Reagan's economic approach often associates the area with tax cuts, deregulation, and all the frumood Wall Street in-year and reduced government intervention.
Ronald Reagan's economic approach often associated with tax cuts, deregulation, and reduced government intervention into supported policies with economic growth.
Ronald Reagan's foreign policy became one of the defining elements of the Cold War through military pressure, diplomatic negotiations, and a focus on confronting the Soviet Union. His
George H.W. Bush guided the United States through the end of the Cold War and the beginning of a new world order. His president focused on diplomacy.
Across more than 2 centuries, America's greatest presidential achievements have come from moments of challenge, ambition, and change.
The achievements of yesterday will mainly ponder the history of generations yet to come.